Best start believing in biblical prophecies.
Because you're in one. Yep.
This is delightful. I've gotten more like wine version than you're usually getting.
I would be free pouring you right now
I
to be
ran
like,
it. My bottle is
any
empty and my
words of
dog
drink
is over
chat.
there, right? So I can't deal with
Okay.
actions. And I'm thinking about the biblical prophecies. You're in one now.
Okay, take us back
And
there.
I no, and the thing is, it's Barbarossa in that image,
Oh
and
yes.
it is the okay. We did it, and we got there, and we didn't mean to get there, but we're going to. The most offensive thing that people are
Uh-huh.
saying right now is we're in one.
Oh.
Matey, right? That the problem that we're having is, and this
Mm.
is, it's like I've been reading a lot for a talk I'm giving in Portugal, um, on the temple imagery.
You defector. You defected from the
I
Anglophone
know
world.
it's great. They want Catholics want to talk to me, and they're going to take me to Fatima. I hope. Um, that oh my god, I can't believe I'm going to get to go to Fatima. I can't believe it. That's going to be amazing. That the Anglo-Saxons, the ones who have not had a voice since the Normans wiped them out, and they did. The thing is, the Normans, when they came in 1066, wiped out the Anglo-Saxon aristocracy. Right? William the Conqueror killed them all. So there are very, very few of the nobility of the English left. All the nobility since then have been Norman, and the in Walter Scott's Ivanhoe, he with the Robin Hood and everything, he has a famous conversation between Wamba the swineherd and Gert. No, Wamba the fool and Gert the swineherd, and they're doing the joke about like when the animal's alive, it's an English name, and when it's food, it's Norman. So pig and pork, or cow and beef. Um,
Okay.
and you know the plot of Ivanhoe is the tension between the Saxons who have been conquered by the Normans and the Normans, and Ivanhoe is like able to
Okay.
blend the two. But then the Jews don't fit because Rebecca of York doesn't feel like she, I mean, even though she's like the only one who never puts on a disguise or anything, and okay, it's complicated, but the and this is the early 19th century, that England is trying to figure out who it is, and the whole sort of fantasy of English customs is they've been overlaid millions of times. They've been overlaid for a
Mm.
millennium by other people's stories. The Anglo-Saxons were very, very interested in the fulfillment of the temple. Um, Bede Bede
Interesting.
in his commentaries has a commentary on the tabernacle and a commentary on the temple, and the oldest full Bible. This is what I'm working on to talk about in Portugal. The oldest full copy of the Jerome's Vulgate translation that we have is the Codex Amiatinus. It's in Florence now, but it was copied in Wearmouth Jarrow in Northumbria in Bede's lifetime, and has a very interesting series of opening images, one of which includes the tabernacle, the place that the Israelites worshipped in the desert,
The Mosaic
the Mosaic
Tabernacle.
tabernacle. And in this
Magnificent.
degree, I mean, when William Blake in the 19th century is like, and did those feet in ancient times, walk among England's pastures green or whatever it is, he's wondering
Mm.
about the whether or not did Jesus come to England, but there's also the Holy Grail legend that's associated with Joseph of Arimathea and such, that the English sent the actual English, right, the Anglo-Saxon English, since their conversion in 597, when Augustine is sent by Gregory the Great to Kent, have been imagining themselves as the Israelites. Because they're
Very.
in the biblical prophecy. Best start believing in biblical prophecies. You're in one.
It's beautiful. Because that is the church as the new Israel.
Yes.
Yeah. So from what you're saying, then the Anglo-Saxons had that imagery very clear in their reading of the scriptures.
Absolutely. And in their art and in their imagery. And you and I in our social media have been showing things like the images of the Maya Stas that are both in England and Egypt.
Yes.
That this, the Coptic understanding of the ark. And I think, so here we have the code is more like what you call guidelines than actual rules, which I think we've touched on, right? It's like that they're creating this ship society, and that Jack in the in saying what the ship is, it's freedom. That there is actually, and I think we need to get to the prophecy part, but we'll go through the rules for a second. That there is a way in which these pirate codes or these bills of rights that we think of as quintessentially conservative American are actually pirate agreements. And I think there is discussion out there that shows that this kind of brotherhood of equity that these pirates develop becomes a part of the American mythology and its political sphere. But I want to talk about the ark instead. Yes. So now we have so think about what they're going after in these movies, right? It's like we've talked about family and rescuing your father and marriage and the relations between women and men. But at the core of the stories is, well, there's the treasure chest full of Aztec gold. There's a fountain of youth. I forget what's in the Penelope Cruz one, and the last one.
No, that was the Fountain of Youth.
That was the Fountain of Youth,
and then the second and third, that was Davy Jones's
heart. Right? Yes, the heart
beating hard in the chest.
And then the last one is a map with the constellations, which I think I didn't get any screenshots of. So we're doing the ark. I mean, the chest full of gold that you find in the midst of this sacred grotto, cavern, hidden space. Oh.
Sounds a lot like another chest.
I mean, who knew that we were watching Raiders of the Lost Ark the whole time? Wait, are the Nazis good pirates or bad pirates? We're not there yet.
Bloody Nazis.
But certainly the power of this image of a gold chest in a place that, guess what, grants life by way of its curse.
Well, I mean, Elizabethan world eliminated this because it was like a Catholic purge. Mm-hmm. Then England and Britain becomes this Protestant hellscape. And suddenly there's no tabernacle. So they're not seeing the Mosaic tabernacle, and they're not seeing the Ark of the Tabernacle.
Right.
But the pirates see it.
Well, it's interesting that
in this particular telling.
In this telling, so it's the Aztec gold, which we started with. The Drake and Hawkins really were going after. What the Spanish are taking from Mexico and Peru. That's Inca and Aztec. But in the myth of the Pirates of the Caribbean, they need to return all the gold in order to get out of the curse, right? This cursed box full of gold.
Yes. Makes you immortal, but you don't enjoy anything.
I think you said something once to me about how the curse, how interesting that curse is.
I don't remember what I said.
You don't feel anything. You can't enjoy anything.
Oh yeah, like a kind of half-life. Yeah. You're undead. A bit like the English. We call them whinging poms here for a reason. Sorry. It sucks. I'm sorry. The English, they ripped their heart out the beating heart of England in the chest.
Wait, I've got that
Bang,
one too. Oh no, that's the Fountain of Youth.
Davy Jones rolling around with this thumping Catholic heart of Britain that has just been ripped out of its chest. No one's having a good time. There's no gold ark. It's just
well, it's a kind of faux reliquary. And it is. So what Davy Jones now I'm showing the ark of the chest, and they're looking at it. That he takes it out because he's giving it to his love, who is supposed to keep it for him. I mean, it's an interesting, like, literal image of what you do when you fall in love with someone and give them your heart. But it's also a and it's a parody. The thing is, I'm now in love with these movies, and they can do no wrong, and therefore I'm going to find a good reason for it. But that it is what a reliquary was supposed to be, which was, the love for Christ, the love for God of the saints, reverenced through relics of their bodies. And in the movie now, this relic is, the heart is like thumping and still, and so it's like still alive, but it's not. But that they are seeking. I don't think the authors of these scripts are Catholic. I didn't get that sense reading their Wikipedia biography, so I'm not clear. But they seem to,
the imagery's haunting them.
So, like, go back to the Fountain of Youth, right? That it's meant to be Fountain of Youth, and the Spanish, as the meme is going around, come in and destroy it and say, this is evil and diabolical. But it's like, it's because it's the wrong fountain. The other thing I'm finding in all of this early medieval imagery is they're very focused on the baptism, right? The Fountain of Youth, the Fountain of life is the baptismal font, where either you are dying resurrected, as Paul says, or you are reborn, as Nicodemus would say. But one way or another, this fountain of life, this fountain of immortality, it's real. And the Spanish maybe know that this one isn't the one in Florida, right? But the story knows. It's like the story knows the truth and keeps wanting to show us.
Yes.
We keep finding these plots where we find the treasure chest full of gold, the fountain full of life, the ark full of love.
Yeah, it's haunting the English-speaking world.
Yes.
The Anglophone peoples are haunted.
And all of the stories they tell they're compelling insofar as they have these ghosts, ghost ship. Right? We are the Mosaic Ark, the ghost ship of the church that the black pearl is, right? And it's like, what would you give for the kingdom of heaven? The pearl is this image of the longing for heaven, and it's a haunted ship.
Well, it's been hijacked. Hijacked and haunted. Yeah, it's kind of a magnificent thing, because the Anglophone world would not even have from the perspective of an Antipodean, first off, you don't know the difference between a Jute and an Anglo-Saxon and a Norman and the Danish and the Celts, and no concept whatsoever.
White? Come on.
Shocking.
Shock.
Let alone understand that the Anglo-Saxons had an iconic understanding of the church as New Israel, worshipping at the Ark of the Covenant. That's just mind-blowing. And that's not white. That's Israelite.
Yes. You're in one.
Yeah.
Let's start believing it.
Very cool.